The May long weekend is days away. And right now, a low-pressure system is building with enough power to topple transport trucks on the Trans-Canada Highway. Wind gusts approaching 110 kilometers per hour are in the forecast for parts of Alberta by Friday. An out-of-control wildfire is still burning southeast of Whitecourt, and the rain that could help put it out is falling in all the wrong places. Snow is coming to 6 provinces. And the cold front trailing this system is going to send temperatures crashing well below seasonal across the entire prairie region heading into the long weekend. This is not the May long weekend forecast anyone was hoping for. But it is the one we have. Good morning. This is your national forecast and we have a lot to get through. We begin in British Columbia, because this is where the system responsible for all of it was born, and understanding what is happening here helps you understand everything that follows over the next 72 hours. A low-pressure system is pushing up from the south, dragging ample moisture across the eastern lower mainland and toward the interior. Wednesday is bringing heavy widespread rain showers to these areas, and embedded within that rainfall is the threat of thunderstorms. The moisture is streaming in from the south and it is not going anywhere quickly. This flow is going to persist well into the long weekend across much of the west. Wednesday temperatures across British Columbia are still quite pleasant in the lower elevations, which can create a false sense of security about what is coming. Do not let the mild afternoon fool you. Because the story in British Columbia this week is not about Wednesday. It is about what happens as that low-pressure system deepens and that trough pushes through on Thursday and into the weekend. Freezing levels that are currently sitting well above 2,000 meters are going to come crashing down to around 1,600 meters by the end of the week. And when those freezing levels drop, everything changes in the mountains. The widespread snowfall that follows is going to hit the mountain passes, the coastal mountains, the interior, and the Kootenays hard. The Kootenays alone are looking at 10 to 20 centimeters of accumulation. If you are traveling to any higher elevations this long weekend, you need to check road conditions before you leave and be prepared for winter driving that has absolutely no business showing up in the third week of May. Now we cross the Rockies into Alberta, and this is where the forecast becomes genuinely alarming for the days ahead. Wednesday afternoon across Alberta is stunning. Medicine Hat is sitting at 29 degrees. Fort McMurray at 22. The ridge that has been anchored over the prairies is still delivering warmth and sunshine, and Wednesday afternoon is going to feel like the kind of day that makes you want to call in sick and sit on a patio. Take that afternoon seriously. Appreciate it. Because what follows it is a dramatic reversal. That low-pressure system crossing the Rockies is going to push into Alberta through Wednesday evening and into Thursday, and it is bringing everything with it. Heavy rainfall pushes through late Wednesday overnight. The Elbow region sees rainfall transitioning to snow along the Rockies and down toward the foothills as the cold air begins to infiltrate. Heavier rainfall toward the eastern parts of the province. And then there are the winds. Special weather statements have already been issued by Environment Canada for parts of Alberta for Thursday morning. This is not a precautionary notice. This is a direct warning that what is coming is significant. Wind gusts are forecast to reach well over 70 kilometers per hour, climbing potentially to 110 kilometers per hour by late day Friday across parts of the province. Those are not strong winds. Those are violent winds. The kind that bring down power lines, snap tree branches, shatter windows, and yes, topple transport trucks on exposed highway corridors. The Yellowhead Highway and the Trans-Canada Highway are specifically in the zone for those gusts approaching 90 kilometers per hour heading into Thursday. If you are operating a high-profile vehicle, a transport truck, an RV, a trailer, on those highways during that window, you need to be aware of this risk before you get behind the wheel. Then there is the wildfire. Southeast of Whitecourt, an out-of-control wildfire is still burning. And here is the cruel irony in this forecast. All of this moisture, all of this rain pushing through Alberta, is not landing where it is needed most. The rainfall totals in the specific region around that wildfire are not significant. The rain is falling to the north, to the south, to the east. But in the zone where it could make a meaningful difference to fire crews and to the communities watching that fire, the precipitation is minimal. The winds arriving behind this system are going to make conditions worse before the rain makes them better. Fire weather watches and the wildfire situation in that corridor need to be monitored closely through the end of this week. By Thursday night into Friday morning, colder air pushes in and the rainfall across Fort McMurray down toward Cold Lake transitions to heavy snowfall. In May, Heavy snow for Fort McMurray. The cold front trailing this system is going to drop temperatures dramatically across the entire prairie region heading into the long weekend, sending readings well below seasonal and making this one of the coldest May long weekends in recent memory for parts of Alberta and Saskatchewan. Now we move east to Saskatchewan, where this system is going to deliver its own significant chapter. The thunderstorm risk that is largely non-severe through Wednesday evening becomes more focused and more dangerous right along the Alberta and Saskatchewan border, where severe storms with hail and strong winds are possible. As that line pushes eastward into Saskatchewan, it transitions into widespread heavy showers heading into Thursday. 30+ millimeters of rainfall is in the forecast for parts of the province. On ground that is already dealing with flooding in central areas around Prince Albert, more heavy rain is a serious concern. Light snow is also possible through areas of northern and central Saskatchewan as that colder air wraps around the back end of the system. And then heading into the long weekend, the cold front drops temperatures dramatically, well below seasonal, widespread across the prairies. Winnipeg is sitting at 22 degrees on Wednesday afternoon. That warmth is temporary. The system heading its way is going to change the picture significantly through the end of the week. Now we head to Ontario and Quebec, where a complicated and multi-layered stretch of weather is unfolding through the middle of the week. Northern Ontario saw rain pushing through on Tuesday, and that continues across much of the east and through the Nickel Belt as we head into Wednesday morning, impacting southern areas of Quebec as well. Wraparound showers are in the forecast through Wednesday afternoon for northeastern Ontario, central sections, and parts of cottage country. A few light scattered showers will linger on the back end into Thursday morning before sunshine finally starts to return. But that sunshine is going to be short-lived. More rain is on the way late Thursday into Friday across the north, with rainfall totals of 10 to 30 millimeters expected, heavier toward the east. Sudbury and Sault Ste. Marie are looking at 30 to 50 millimeters of rainfall in the forecast. That is a significant number, and it is worth watching closely for any flooding concerns in those communities. For southern Quebec, that same system pushes through on Wednesday afternoon. Widespread heavier showers toward the west with wraparound moisture along the St. Lawrence. There is the possibility of some rumbles of thunder and lightning associated with this activity, though the threat is largely non-severe for the most part. Wednesday afternoon temperatures across the east are still sitting slightly below where they should be for mid-May, but the overall trend is improving. Conditions are drying out and some sunshine is finally starting to return. Ottawa is at 10 degrees on Wednesday. Not spectacular, but moving in the right direction. Now we turn to Atlantic Canada, where the narrative has been dominated by rain for what feels like weeks, and where that story has one more difficult chapter to get through before any meaningful improvement arrives. Wednesday afternoon is actually bringing something rare and welcome to the Maritimes. Dry conditions. Some sunshine returning to a region that has been absolutely battered by wave after wave of precipitation. Cooler temperatures persist, particularly through Newfoundland and Labrador, where that colder air from the north is mixing in with the system. St. John's is at 8 degrees. Happy Valley, Goose Bay, Corner Brook, and St. Anthony are all still seeing that snow continue through Wednesday afternoon as the system pushes its cold air into the region. That snowfall will taper as the system pushes off into the Atlantic Basin. But just as that relief arrives, the next system is already forming on the horizon. The long-range forecast for Newfoundland is carrying a significant rainfall event heading into the beginning of the long weekend. Heavy amounts of rainfall building well into the long weekend. This is on top of a stretch that has already pushed some areas of Atlantic Canada to their limits in terms of precipitation totals. The details of that system are still coming into focus, but if you are in Newfoundland planning long weekend activities, this is a forecast worth watching very closely over the coming days.